First of all, man, thank you for joining us on Talk Wrestling this week. Just been loving what you've been doing really for the past, not only the few weeks with the champ and that match coming up on the Great American Bash tonight, but you've had quite the year. I remember Will Gavin, a guy from Talksport who caught up with you at a Progress show last year, and we were talking, about you and what you've been doing in WWE thus far, and you weren't overly satisfied with your spot at that time. You felt like there was much more you could do. And boy, since that time, you've done it, man. From that year ago at that Progress show to now, how much more fulfilled or on the right path do you feel?
Fulfilled is a very difficult word for me. I would go the route of the phrase "on the right path." I certainly feel a lot better in terms of that talk, sure, because an opportunity came, and just like the majority of others, I took the opportunity, smashed it, and have continued to do my best to grind as hard as I can ever since then. And now we find ourselves in this very exciting position of, as you call it, the champ. Well, I like to call it actually the champ challenge. And, it's exciting. It's really exciting. So it's an opportunity for somebody to make history. And who doesn't love being involved in an opportunity to make history? You know what I mean? So I'm pretty happy right now.
You talk about making history too. And I think one of the most exciting things at the moment for NXT, the ratings obviously recently have reflected that NXT are putting on exciting programming, and it seems to be at an all-time high. Do you think that the competition has bred, on Wednesday nights we're talking here, has bred a better product for everyone? And do you think for you it brings out the best in you having that kind of A, pressure, but B, spotlight?
Honestly, man, I don't even really think about that. It's nice to have competition in general, but I'm always competing with myself. So it isn't really about anyone else. It's for Keith Lee to go out and do the best that Keith Lee can. And if Keith Lee did good, then how much better can he be the next time? And that's literally my own mantra, is always competing with self. I love competition, but it's 99.9% of the time it's against myself. And so I do believe that competition is good for everybody. But for me particularly, it's good for myself.
I have to ask you how you felt about these apparent leaks that happened last week. Obviously, a lot of I'm not going to detail them, of course, for anyone listening to this, but a lot of fans saw stuff break on the internet, and I think that's happened with AEW as well. Does that bother you when it heads into a big match like this at all?
No, not at all, man. I mean, when you think about it, it's, as you say, apparent leaks. Look, at the end of the day, the only way someone knows what happens is when it airs.
Sure.
So for those people that think that they've unloaded some big mystery or something, that's one thing. But the only thing that makes me sad in this scenario is how many of them are trying to ruin it for other people, because there's the potential for it, and some people could be very happy about it. But if that were to change because of the scenario, I don't know. I feel like it's just not good for people. And then for the people that don't want that potential spoiler or whatever it may be, it's not fun for them either. So it's just, to me, it shows me kind of how uncool, I guess you could say, some people can be. But at the end of the day, you don't know what's really happening until it happens. And that's just the truth of the matter. So, if they feel righteous in their activities, then hey, good for them. But not the people that have to look at that, just they aren't having fun. And I think they should consider them more than anybody else in this situation.
Absolutely, and the one thing I would say is that as fans, we can't lose anyway. When it's Adam Cole and Keith Lee with that much on the line, you know you're going to get a great match. So whoever tunes in, they know what they're going to get there. And when I think about Keith Lee, that there's like three things that I want to touch on. That have just kind of the fan of me has been harboring for months, Keith. The first thing that I want to touch on is you and Dijak, okay? And you killing it in Portland and all of the subsequent matches. For those of us, those fans outside the WWE bubble that know what you did at PWG and things like that, I'm always kind of fascinated with that because WWE has a tendency, I'll take Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens as an example, people who do fantastic things outside of the company and they bring that chemistry with them to the biggest stage. So when you and Dijak get put together, is that, are you and Dijak kind of suggesting that, or is there people behind the scenes that know what you've done and they say, hey, we should make use of this? I'm just fascinated how that all comes together.
So in my personal, honest opinion, I don't think that everyone within the company is always aware of things going on outside the company. So I don't think that people are actually necessarily aware of some of the things that we're capable of as athletes. I think it was just a radical mixture of luck and circumstance. And at the end of the day, them seeing something they've never seen before and saying, whoa, this is a competition that probably shouldn't be just let go so easily. And we had more than one opportunity. And as that grew, it continued. And goodness, I'm not even sure how many matches we've had across television, even before Portland. So I think it's just them seeing it for the first time and saying, wow, these two guys push each other to a completely different level. This is probably money. And just accepting the fact that we are some next level athletes at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, the chemistry is absolutely undeniable there. But the other things that I was thinking about are kind of the main roster moments that you've had. And I'm sure that you've been asked questions about these before, but one that I do want to touch on first is the Royal Rumble appearance, because I know, having spoken to girls like Drew McIntyre and Kofi Kingston, that Brock Lesnar was extremely hands-on on picking, well, I say picking, but helping build his run in that Rumble. Him and Paul Heyman were very central to that. So to be involved in that obviously says a lot about what either those two think about you or WWE do as a whole. How special was it to get in there with him? I was actually there in Houston, so I felt the crowd buzz when you two came together. It was awesome. So talk me through that process, learning you're going to be in there with Brock, and then when you actually are in there.
At the end of the day, if I'm going to be 100% honest, I didn't know I was in the Royal Rumble until about 2 hours before the Royal Rumble.
Wow.
So that day was just me there in case I'm in the Rumble, was really what it was. And I just knew, hey, there's a chance you could possibly be in this, be here. And I was there. And so really the day was just relaxing a little bit and seeing some of the extra talent that I was familiar with, since obviously I'm from Texas. And watching, trying to learn what I can. And so once I found out, I was like, oh, okay. So I kind of let that be and got myself together, tried to get dressed in a timely manner because I'm very slow getting my gear on. And eventually, it got to the point and it was time, and I watched, and I'm seeing this guy just demolishing people left and right. And I'm like, okay, I need to go out here and fight this man. Like, I'm not about to get pumped. Like, 90% of the people that have come out here.
Mm.
And so it was a little more heartening when I saw Ray and Big E and Kofi come together and, you know, put a little something on them. And then all of a sudden they were gone. And I was just like, oh, okay, all right, we'll figure this out. And so by the time I came out there, I was so amped up. My own adrenaline had gotten me to the point where I could barely even feel. If people watch that back closely, they'll see there's like tape up my ankle coming out of my boot from when the Undisputed Era smashed my ankle up with the chair. So I was still recovering from that, mind you. And my adrenaline was so high, I hardly even noticed the pain. I didn't have as much of a limp as I was walking down there because I was just ready to fight.
Yeah.
And then the moment I got to the ring, like I felt everything from the fans to Heyman to the atmosphere, the announcers, and then looked at Brock and I was like, oh, this is a big deal right now. People are losing their minds. I am fired up and I step in the ring and it's just like, it's this incredible moment, dude. It's like, I don't know what to call it. It's like Hulk meets, I don't know, Godzilla or something.
Mm.
And I get in the ring and it's just, I don't even know how long we stood there, but it was just explosions. The atmosphere alone was just spewing electricity. So yeah, the experience was magical, to say the least. You can feel something different when you step into the ring with a Brock Lesnar, and I loved that. So it was exciting, and I felt like that was a place for me. That's how I felt.
I mean, to finish on another magical moment before I know I have to let you go here, I thought the closing moments of the match at Survivor Series were absolutely awesome as well. Like, I was totally hook, line, and sinker. I thought you were going to do it. And then you had that kind of cool moment with Roman Reigns after that as well. Working with those guys, I imagine for you, interacting them for the first time, like, again, how was that? And to be able to craft that moment with them, did that just give you more, I don't know, fuel, more motivation than ever? Because, man, those moments, like you just said, they're magic.
Yeah, I think that, I don't know, when you think about things like that, it's really hard to interpret what that's like, because Seth and Roman are two just so top tier guys, it's almost unreal. And when you're one of the final three and you step in the ring, and in that moment, I had never really done anything WWE wise aside from the little invasion that we had going on. And when I stepped in the ring and the people were going nuts for me with those two guys in the ring, it's just it's a touching moment, man. It's powerful. It's really encouraging. It's a different type of feeling. And I think everything from getting to that point and recognizing that I'm one of the final three, and even to the point of eliminating Seth. And I mean, when that happened, I don't know. I think people thought that I was just going to take Survivor Series home.
Yeah.
And it was exciting. Now, Roman would have something to say about that, but the battle that would ensue before that occurs was something that was special as well. From the moment of stepping in with those two to eliminating Seth, to the moment of his recognition of the fact that I was the last one there with him, and that moment where he just stood and looked at the crowd because he was genuinely befuddled by their excitement for me, made a certain level of competition, and it was just beautiful. For those that don't know, competition is something that I absolutely love, and it's, to me, it's what drives this business. Because if you're not competitive, what do people have to cheer for? And at the top level, and it's a different feeling. It's a different level of aura, of power, of magic, of intensity. And man, that was a beautiful thing. And yeah, I went down in both cases, but I don't think that anything else for me outside of winning the North American Championship and this opportunity today have been bigger things in my career thus far.
Well, Keith Lee, I have to say you're bang on. They were two beautiful moments. And tonight there is going to be another beautiful moment with yourself and Adam Cole vying to make history as double champions. I can't wait to see it. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk wrestling today. And good luck, my man.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it.